Lieutenant Commander Jack Ripper Thorne. He has seen hell in 20 places. He a Navy SEAL trained first-class operator to kill without hesitation. But to lie. Flowers on the cold linoleum because he was in a makeshift room, he felt real fear. For the first time, not for himself, to the civilian woman standing in the middle him and the door. Push it. Just like a plaster cast. He was wrong. Like a wooden door. It scattered under the shoe. The hired nurse didn't scream. It's not cold. The sliders are from Sig Sauer releases P26 in a very fluid motion. It looked like this translation. Jack realized this too late. He was ready to tell them why the room was there. The most dangerous person in the room. Dust in the Korangal Valley. It doesn't just stay on your skin. It works. The path to your soul. It was 1,400 hours. The heat, a blanket that breathes. And a lieutenant. Commander Jack Thorne was in En Bui. What can I leave the milk to cool? Jack was black. Trapped in a sand pit, nicknamed for the base that works in front of the Granite FOB. Especially for medicine part. Unsuccessful withdrawal for 3 days. He left it in a piece that had been cut off earlier. From the bruise and the black wound on the thigh ego. He was a tiger in the house, running back and forth. The clean tent is a little round. I can't wait to get back on the team. You go and rip those stitches, Commander. There's a soft voice from the corner. Jack. It stood and shone. It was Elena. Elena Vance. She was the head nurse of this God's place, citizen, a contractor working in a humanitarian organization, a dedicated support team, military presence for protection. She was small, maybe 1.75 meters tall, with a thick body. Brown hair tied in a bun, very tired looking, bread and eyes her age. She seemed to be her own. Peripheral pediatric clinic, which candy for little kids. It's not 40 meters here. From the nearest exit point to enemy territory. My stitches are good, Vance, Jack groaned and limped back to his seat. Bed. My team is working there. Sector, and here I am playing the role of the house. Elena didn't flinch at his voice. It was never finished. She only brought one thing. Hot bandage. It's effective movement style. Your team is elite, Commander. I don't need to follow them. Slow down. You are a burden. Until that bone heals. Responsibility. The word pain. You know nothing. Jack snatched it and pushed it. She pulled her hand away. You'll change the beds and check the temperature. If the circuit is broken, you are another package we need. Wait. The burden is on you, Elena. It was a cruel thing to say. Something sparkled in her eyes, no pain, but something cold, dark, before she disappeared behind her professional mask. Sit down, Jack, she said. He's throwing away the official status, he said. Anesthesiologist. Jack sat down. He watched her go. She noticed how easy her steps were. She moved like a ghost. He had guessed. It was just their habit of not waking up. Patience. The FOB was quiet. It was very calm. Most heavy loads, including Jack Platoon Bravo 2, was at the beginning. Long-range patrol. The base was in progress. In a small group, a few representatives, military police, 2 combat engineers, the medical staff and Jack. Hey, Nag. Andal Corporal Miller. Young member of parliament with a baby's face, screamed as he entered. A tent for ibuprofen. You hear the conversation. Intel says, Al-Shabaab commander is bringing in soldiers Valley. Elena looked to the side. The card is Al-Shabaab. Kandahari is a member. The same. Miller shook his head and threw away the pills. Don't do it. But don't worry, dear. We have 3 things. With barbed wire and me at 50 calories. Are you sure? Elena didn't do it. She smiled. She went to the window and looked out. On the right line. 3 threads. The wire will not stop a certain attack. Corporal. Al-Shabaab does not move men. Unless he intends to take over the land. Jack, they mocked him from the bed. Listen. Strategist. Follow your prescription. Leave the war to us. He regrets those words. They truly repented 4 hours later. 1830 after Sunset Mountains, casting long, sharp shadows on the Granite FOB. The generator was roaring. A low, rhythmic beat usually helps. Jack is asleep. But tonight, by instinct, he shouted. The hair on his back, his neck stood straight. It was a feeling of being him. In Fallujah, Yemen, and there were places that weren't on maps. He feels like he is being watched. He sits up straight. I lift my legs off the bed. The pain, there was a slight tremor in his thigh now. He took the gun, Sig Payton 26, sitting on the bedside table, and cleaned the room. Habit. Elena was writing a report at her desk. Strong laptop. Blue light. It brightens the face, makes it visible. Faziza. Do you feel it too? She asked. Without raising his head. Jack paused. I felt it. What? Birds, she said in a soft voice. They stopped singing 10 minutes ago. Jack frowned. She was right. The area, the sound of the valley, the souls, the wind, the distant birds are gone. The sound gap is spread over it. Knife. The sound was muffled. A wet towel fell to the floor. Miller, who was under surveillance outside the main valve of the treatment system tent, leaned forward. He didn't scream. He simply stretched his knee and the ground, then his face. Jack moved. Before their brains are fully functioning image, contact. He shouted and grabbed the gun. I leaned against a safe across the street. Part. But the sky exploded. RPG, the communication tower collapsed at 50 meters away. The explosion was deafening. Toothache-like shock in Jack's skull. The lights in the tent. He trembled and died, and they threw him in darkness. Sit down, Jack shouted, approaching. Elena, she was already on the floor, but she wasn't scared either. When Jack saw her, on the balcony, he saw him rolling under heavy water. An oak table with a medical bag, outside, everything was ruined. The clear roar of AK-47s, it filled the air, and deep the roar of the base's machine guns. But the counterattack from the base, occasional weakness. They were excessively idle. They're in the wire, Jack shouted, rolling towards the tent lid. They crossed the area before they were shot. The first shot. He looked outside. The scene was a nightmare. People in costumes. Black tactical gear, not the usual cloth. The militia of the lab. These were the experts. He flooded the yard. He counted 12 of them. There might be 15 in this sector alone. Move stealthily, drop to cover. Cover. Jack raised the sight of the gun. On a mercenary going to the command post. Pull the trigger. Click. His blood became cold. Calmness. Slowness. The charging handle is raised. Round. Not taken. Double feeding in the dark. It catches fire. It demands precious values. Seconds to clean. Dear. He dropped the gun and took it out. The gun. Commander. Elena's voice disappeared. In the chaos. It wasn't sharp. He obeyed. Jack looked back. Elena rolled away. Towards him, keeping her profile low. Like sandbags. How cold is it? A lot. Jack rejected it. Maybe 30. 40, Al-Shabaab sent a death squad. Our communication has been cut off. It's down. The connection is lost. Elena, you're coming to get drugs. She said, scanning the room with her eyes. High-value prisoners in custody neighbor's house. I don't care what they do. We need it. We need to protect this room. The only solid structure left. Jack. He trembled as he moved his legs. The adrenaline masked the pain, but blood was shed again. 2 mercenaries she appeared at the entrance to the tent, their images are etched in the flame. Communication tower. They took out their weapons. Jack shot him. Bang. Bang. One man's business, he grabbed his throat. The other one sprayed him. Automatic fire blast in the tent. The glass broke. The oxygen cylinders fell. Jack threw himself behind a heavy metal plate. Vance, sit in the back. Room. Close the door, Jack shouted, shoot 2 more bullets blindly. He was crushing the person who was shooting. He was waiting. He heard him running away. He was waiting. Voice of a shocked citizen, they ran for safety. Instead, the shadow from the darkness, he turned to him. Okay. Elena didn't run. As she walks forward, she has a scalp. Right-handed, 10th grade blade make large pieces. She moved in heavy silence, closing the distance with survivors, a mercenary above him to get the fallen friend into the tent. The mercenary saw it too late. He waved it. Gun, but Elena was already inside. She is waiting. She did not lose the game. He entered his personal space, used it. Wrap your left hand around the barrel. He raised the weapon up, and in his right hand, she placed the skull on a soft surface. Under the jaw, which a ruptured blood vessel. That was right. Surgical strike. She quit her job when she left. The man foamed and bled, the white canvas of the tent is being sprayed. Wall. Jack looked at his mouth for a moment. Open. The gun felt heavy in his hand. Elena wiped the blood from her cheek. She bent down and gathered the dead, AK-47 mercenary. I saw the magazine. She looked at Jack, and he looked into her eyes. Without the heat he saw earlier. There are 2, she said calmly. There are 43 left. Commander, can you stand up, or should I stand up too? Will you clean this hall yourself? Jack Thorne, Navy SEAL, 12 years of service in fulfilling his duty, he was plunged into trouble. Who is it? You, he whispered. I'm the nurse, she said. You too, he said, walking to the window. Now cover my 6. Jack's insight really touched me. Movement, the redirection, anatomical examination. None. Self-defense course at the YMCA. These were close combats. Refined based on instinct. Vance, Jack shouted, jumping up. And using the cabinet for support. They surrounded us. We're dead. I know, Elena said. She was. Taking off the tactical vest of the dead mercenary. The hall has 3 entrances. Main valve, side outlet to toilets and ventilation windows. She took his coat. She took his jacket. Jack. Put on some clothes. It'll cover you. Crucial. I am small. I am strong. I will not take your sword. Jack resisted, even though he had already resisted. She's struggling to stand. Get dressed. His voice was like steel. I want you to talk. Keep the original entry with you. Side gun. I'll fix the side door. What did they use to build it? Did Elena go? Medicine cabinet. We have ethanol. Oxygen and magnesium salts under pressure for the record. I can make a bomb, Jack. But I need 30 seconds. Jack looked at the main entrance. The shadows moved again. Clear's throat, there were many. Fish. You are 20 years old. Jack has the opposite behind him. Iron Table, the organization he was swinging the tent, his heart beating fast. With his ribs. She looked at Elena. It came out of the corner of his eye. She moved like that. Water. She took a can of clean water. Ethanol, washed the gas cylinder and it circled around a nearby oxygen tank. Side door. She put a flashlight inside. Package. Foreign voices called Arabic. Dakil, Dakil. It is the century in it. Inside. They gather. Jack. They shouted. 3 men attacked the main road. Entering at the same time. Jack shot. The man playing in front turned to him. The chest that falls inward, teammates. Jack has but the second one has a third person. The room. Bullets hit the floor, sending scraps of cloth to Jack's house face. I'm out. I'm out. Jack shouted. He takes the savings on the magazine. The third armed man kicked the bodies, he raised his gun to kill Jack. Boom. The side door exploded. Elena didn't explode. Just set a trap. She set the time. Explosion. When the side door explodes. Inside, a ball of fire engulfed the 2 men, then tried to break free from the corner. The shock of the gun was the main entrance is outside the math. The second time he distracts, Elena didn't hide. She attacked. It's hanging on their sight. The AK-47 handle was firmly pressed against her back. On her shoulder. She didn't sprinkle and she didn't pray. The controlling couple was fired. Pop, 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 the doll. The gun in front of Jack fell. Elena bent down and examined it carefully. She said, keep your right. Keep your left. Jack replied, giving him another slap. Magazine house. He went to the burning place. Side entrance. Where did you study? Dealing with an IED using a first aid kit. Elena ignored the question. It is already moving into storage. They know we're here now. They'll stop. We'll start dropping bombs after them. Move. Move where we are surrounded. Basement, Elena said. Jack frowned. It is a tent structure on the ground. There is no structure. Basement. Ella stepped aside. A dense shelf with drops of salt water, which carpet? She kicked the carpet. Under it the wooden staircase was locked with a padlock. The NGO used this post office as a human trafficking center. Stopping point 5 years ago. Elena shot at the key. He went down with 1 shot. Cave. Leads to the generator shed. On the northern slope. Jack looked at him. You sat down. All this time in the escape tunnel. It hasn't been necessary until now, she said. And he opened the door. The first women. After you, Jack said, taking a leaping step closer. She. As they fall into the damp darkness and land, Jack realized he had a change of heart. He was completely moved. It wasn't him. The defender was not found. He was the property. They walked hand in hand. The cave was narrow, they have a musty and old earthy smell. To explore. Jack dragged his bad leg, grinding one's teeth to cope with the pain. Elena stepped forward, moving quickly. Wait. Get up, she said, and suddenly stopped. They were about 50 feet high. They could hear from the ground. Difficult steps. We are below the level. Backyard, she whispered. Suddenly the cave was shaking. Dust was falling on them. They're emptying the clinic. Jack. They didn't like the prisoners. They wanted to clean his face. No, Elena said in a strained voice. It will hurt us. Al-Shabaab knows about Tun. Cave. Jack froze. How? Because, Elena turned and looked at him, hers. My face is covered in dust and blood. Built 10 years ago. I was being held in an Al-Shabaab camp. Jack's eyes widened. You're not human. I'm a nurse, said Elena, she was checking her gun. But now before I was with the FSB, the Russian intelligence agency. Director. The fragments screamed. The cold attitude, deadly effectiveness, Russia her deeply hidden words, but sometimes it penetrates into some vowels. Jack is trapped in a cave. Now a former Russian spy, the only thing that keeps him alive. So Jack created a cruel smile. Responsibility in cleaning is a dream agent, she retired. She fixed it. And now, this responsibility leads us to there are 40 people on it, Jack, we have guns and pistols, ready to get your paycheck. Stamp. Jack. He controlled the slide. He led the way, Bill. The air in the cave became thin, replaced by a heavy and sweet aroma, diesel fuel and wet decomposition. Jack pulled. The injured leg. Every inch forward. Progress, painful negotiation. The temporary tourniquet used by Elena, it was once captured, but the lost blood formed the edges of the vision. It will disappear. 2 meters, Elena whispered, her voice trembling. Slowly from the clay walls. The generator shed floor. He stopped. Heavy boots trampled on them. With wood. The generator, huge. The industrial section was the drag section, he shouted loudly, what kind of sound is that? Breathing, but also choking enemy movements. One, get out of the woodwork, clears her throat, Elena muttered, now he directs the electric beam from his hand. Covered with a red filter for protection, night view, on a rusty iron ring. The roof of the cave rises. Behind the oil barrels. If you are, they guard the barn, they guard it. It's not the door, it's the floor. If they see us, come on, we're fishing in a barrel, Jack. He whistled and grabbed the gun. Then don't give them time to see it. He replied. Elena grabbed an AK-47. She pulled out a knife from her back, this time a scalpel, but with a serrated tooth. The sword she had, she was a hired hand in the tent. Climbing up with one hand, painfully dead end. Jack looked into her eyes. Fully extended, strengthened. The nurse, who scolded him for not eating jelly, it was gone. In its place was the hunter pushed the lid and thumb, she looked in. Then she fell to the ground. Retreat. 3 tangos, she showed in 3 signs fingers. 1 on the door, 2 on the console. They save the costs. He wants to empower everyone. Valley. If that generator fails, the communication channel for the entire sector. Jack realized it was dark. No air support, no medical. Exactly. Elena whispered. I find both on the console. You will find door. Vance, I can't run. You don't have to run fast. You just have to do it. Don't get lost. Elena pushed him away with her gesture. His clothes were opened and he jumped. She did not grow to her full height. His legs remained low, the first mercenary, standing near the gas station before I realized the battery was there. She pushed him with her knee as he fell. He raised his chest and silenced him. Knife. The second person on the console. He turned around and shouted something in Chechen. Elena was already in motion. A heavy winch is lying on the generator. Shell and through it. It was heard on the contrary. The iron wall, which distracts him for a while a fraction of a second, long enough to be close the distance and drive. He wrapped his shoulders around his stomach. Fuse box. Sparks of fire fell on them. The third man, guard at the door, she gun after riot. Jack rose like a vengeful spirit from the well. He raised his hands to the floor, he made a bitter face and sighed. The world has slowed down, the pressure is on. Leader, he grabbed the guard in the eye socket. He fell immediately. Elena finished. The person on the console is rude. It was the agility that made Jack retreat. His neck was broken by a sharp bend, then he immediately began searching. Bag. Of course, she said, her chest heaving violently. A little. Jack raised his head. The barn, falling on a heap sandbag. You fight like Spetsnaz. Operator. The FSB has better funding, she said. Agur Marina threw him a new magazine. He found it on one of the bodies. We need it. To move. The explosion in the hull. The dinner bell. Every bad boy in it. 5 clicks are going to smoke. Jack looked through the cracked window. The barn room. The medical tent. It was extremely intense. The heat was very intense. It can be heard from 50 meters above here. Downhill. Where are we going? Jack, we can't let them in, he asked. Open. Not on my feet. Elena looked. To him, then to the ridge line above them. The old Soviet observation tower, 4 Alpha. It is the highest land in sector. It has thick walls and a clear floor. The line of sight leading to the entrance to the valley. Jack, it's a defensive stance. He argued. The last look. Jack, he suddenly said, using his own name. Shockingly emotional. Look at your feet. Blood is seeping through the bandage. We're not going anywhere. We're digging. We signal for help. We kill everything. I'm going up that hill. She took a medical kit from the wall. An emergency generator station. She opened the group. She took it out. Staple gun. Not a medical stapler. Construction binder. She said it hurts. Don't do it. You have courage, Jack warned. I want the wound. So you can shoot without passing. She said outside. Before she could protest. Then she squeezed her metal nose. On the lap and on the pull, dive. Jack shouted and bit the matchstick. For him through him he shouted. Donk, baptism. I'm done, she said, throwing away the clip. Set it aside and turn it into a new press. Bandage raw seams. Adrenaline will take care of the rest. Can you? Send. Jack stood, sweat pouring down his body. Face. The pain was very white and hot, but his leg succeeded. I'm going, he said. But when it's over, I fill a formal complaint with human resources. Elena smiled, a little dryly. The curve of the lips. Take it. Let's go. Ant. It was about climbing the observation tower. A fantasy of loose clay and moonlight. Move in the shadows. Jack staggered. Heavy, with an AK-47 as a crank. When Elena thinks she's not looking. They arrived at the ruined tower. The remaining concrete cylinder, the Soviet invasion in the 1980s. Just like the first convoy of vehicles arrived quickly. Down the base, Jack fell inside. Tower, sliding down the cold wall. He raised his gun and on the window. Telescope, he looked at the control panel. Invasion. 3 technical trucks from rear-mounted heavy machine guns. It broke all around. Fence. Dozens of foot soldiers swarmed. The ruins of the burned medical hospital hall. They're looking for a body, Jack said. He's breathing harder and harder, he said. To prove the murder. Elena was busy. She wasn't looking at the enemy. She is preparing the battlefield. An old box full of rusty Soviet bombs corner. She looked at them. Carefully, throw away what comes with it. Broken needles. They won't find us. Soldiers, she said. And that will do. He got angry. Him? Jack asked. Al-Shabaab. Elena stopped. She looked outside. Window, her face lit up with light. Far away fire. His name is not Al-Shabaab. It's a war name. His name is Viktor Volov. He is the commander of the 15 group. He became a thief 3 years ago. He runs drugs, weapons and human trafficking in this valley. Jack looked at him. Wagner, you are talking about a highly educated person. Mercenary. This explains the methods. Why does he love you? Elena watched the action of her weapon. Because I'm the one who fired the shot. His brother's head in Grozny for 6 years before. I was undercover. We got that information. Volov sold chemical weapons to the rebels. His brother was the messenger. The deal was done. I took a chance. She turned to Jack, closing her eyes. He's been following me ever since. I've been hiding. The cycle of humanity, and I think I was lost. I thought like a nurse. Saving lives, maintaining balance is possible. The account book. Jack looked at the woman holding it. He was fired from his job as a newspaper distributor. The marks on her hands now, like hers, she is constantly looking around. She is not hidden. Don't do it. Elena, you're not lost, Jack said. He said in a low voice, you have changed now. Battlefields. A scream from below interrupted their conversation. Take the focus away from the main technicians. You climbed the hill and looked at your reflection. The observation towers are glass. They found it. We. Jack shouted. Duff. 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 DHK heavy machine gun. It was opened in the truck. The size of the circle roots stuck in concrete tower, blasting out pieces of stone from within. Dust choked the air. Go. Elena, he shouted while hitting Jack while he was on the wall. It was scattered over his head. We can't fight the DSHK with small arms. Jack coughed and spit out concrete dust. I have to get rid of that machine gun. I can't. Try it, Elena said. The sound of gunfire. The angle is very leaning over. Jack looked at the gun. SEAL sniper. From miles away in a rocking boat, but the hands were shaking from the blood. The view was swimming. I can shoot him, Jack said. He forced himself to sit up. But I have to. You have to pull them. Elena looked up. If I'm crazy. When I wake up, they cut me in half without stopping, Jack said. He drew the conclusion. You said you did. Torches. Elena nodded. She grabbed the first aid kit. A long-range gun thrown from her medical bag. Take it. From the left window. Jack ordered. The gun was strapped to his shoulder. They breathe in pain. Follow the light. That gives me 2 things. Seconds to hit the shooter on the right. Are you ready? Elena pointed this out. Do it. Elena said, bending over. He jumped out of the window and shot. The red torch whistling at night, bending over, and bright, like fire, the truck driver swung his large truck. A device that leads to a light source. The stream paths have been taken from afar. The main window. Jack saw it open. There was no telescope, there were only iron sights. The distance was 300 meters. In the darkness, he breathing, in silence chaos. Aim at a small level. Fall at a small level. Enter. Printed. Head. Bullets in the truck. He jumped back, his hands flying. Trigger grips. The heavy weapon fell. He was silent. Hit him. Jack shouted. But the victory was short-lived. The other 2 the trucks started their engines, pointing their guns at the top of the tower. And now the foot soldiers began. They are running towards the hill. They are coming. Particle, Elena shouted. Rusty Soviet bombs. We probably have 5. A few minutes before they broke down the door. Jack checked the ammunition. 2 magazines. Elena, he said, she is. I put my phone in my tactical jacket. I forgot about it. For this. She might be shocked, but Elena. He ran to him and entered. She took the jacket he was wearing. Satellite radio signal. The screen is cracked, but the power light is on. It glowed bright green. She called him. She said he was alive. Jack. He sighed, his energy fading quickly. Frequency 145. 9, chaos with exclamation marks. Tell them we have it. The broken arrow situation. Elena turned on the microphone. Day after day, day after day. This is basic Granite going forward. Suddenly we were found. 2 survivors were caught in the net. Reference 884. Seek air support immediately. Broken arrow. I repeat, broken arrow. Silent whisper from behind. Come, quiet Texas man. The sound penetrates into the sound. Granite, Viper is 16. Let's read. Loud and clear. We are coming. Arrival time 4. Microphones. Children, lower your heads. We are. It brings rain. 4 minutes. Jack went to the crowd. The mercenaries gathered high on the hill. This 4 years could have easily passed by. 4 minutes. Jack whispered. Can we wait? Elena pulled the needle out of the bomb and he controlled and counted the seconds. She looked at Jack and said, when you smile sincerely for the first time, a very brave smile. A battalion in Dagestan. I objected. A rusty gun and a bottle of vodka, she said, it's only Tuesday. She threw the bomb out the window. It exploded in the middle of the hill. Soldiers send soldiers into the air. Rel, sailor, she said, grabbing her AK rifle and ordering. This is the universe coming, but the universe is coming. They were not soldiers like the smoke. The bomb has been defused, only 1 digit remains. He left after the trucks. At the bottom of the hill. He was not dressed. Tactical gear. Has custom gear. By the way, the package is in the middle. Massacre. He was holding a megaphone. Elena, his voice became strong, raised. And it echoed on the walls of the gorge. A voice dripping with oil and evil. Elena froze. Her face turned pale. Elena, my boyfriend, Volov, called me. I know it's you. Up there, and I know you're there. The American is with you. I sent him. I will do it. Live. I only want you. Jack looked at Elena. Don't listen. He's not lying, Elena whispered. I follow the code. If I go there, it causes an airstrike. Leave it. No, Jack said, looking away. Poor Elena, Volov cried again. Clear's throat, I have something for him. You. Look. 2 of his men. The prisoner in front of him was Dr. Eris. Senior civil doctor and administrative officer clinic with Elena. He was hit with blood. On his knees. Volkov was holding a gun for him. The doctor's head. She's counting to 3, Elena. Get out or the good doctor will retire. He asked. Elena stood up. Jack, sit down. Clear's throat, he ordered as he tried to get up. I'll kill her, said Jack, and kill her. A trembling voice. He is my friend. He trap. I know, she said. She fell into it herself. Magazine, which is room. Cover me. What are you doing? She said she would negotiate. She went to the gate of the tower. Elena, she came back for the last time. Clear's throat, say this when the planes come. To target the herd. He opened the door and went out. In the light, she raised her hands up without a weapon. Jack looked and saw. Window. She was vomiting, or at least it seemed that way. It seemed like Elena was walking on the rocky path. On the street, with his hands on his head, he saw Jack. Something hidden in her right hand shines. She resisted her wrist. It was her scalp. This is what it was like walking on a clay slope. A funeral for someone. Wind. Elena's hair covered her face, her eyes burn, but she doesn't blink. She looked at Volov. Standing next to the chief technical officer's hat, a disgusting king in a filthy kingdom. He had the same arrogant smile. Smile like a snake in tea. While parts of Grozny were selling nerves, benzene bid for the highest bidder, there she is. It's him, said Volov. At the bottom of the slope, 10 meters from the stop. His spirit. I have to say, home life doesn't suit me. You look tired, Elena said. She was teasing. Her eyes darted to Dr. Eris. The old man cried out in silence, and was wounded. Purple and flowers on the face. Victor, leave it, said Elena, the voice was low. It's between us. He only one doctor. He fixes broken bones. He's no use to you. In contrast, Volov laughed and said, he pointed the gun hard at Eris's gallbladder. It's a very good lever. You see, I know. You, Elena, have this pathology. You have to save people. This is your weakness. That's why you missed the ball. Chechnya. It's because you are the one who is destined to achieve success. He didn't want to hit the citizen in the back. Elena's hands were still up. It was on the inside of the skull. Her left wrist, hidden from view in the sleeve of her cotton shirt. Come within a 3-foot radius. Just 3 feet. I didn't lose it, Elena said softly. I let you live because I wanted you to live. Guide me to your suppliers. Vulov's smile disappeared. And look where it is. It happened. I was hiding in a tent, getting dressed. A roof for the Americans. He held out his hand. The men said, look for him. 2 mercenaries. Her weapons were pointed directly at them. He held his breath. As if someone had touched him with their hand. Paul, it's over. One of the men he touched his waist and legs. He laughed, I couldn't find anything other than medical scissors. He put them in his pocket. Land. Clean boss. Good, said Volov. Now you're kneeling, Elena hesitated. Kneel. Volov shouted. Eris' gun hammer it was on her head. Elena was on her knees. Powder. You killed my brother. Volov he whistled and approached him. He was 1.5 meters tall. Far, then 4. He knows it. But you are nothing, you are just a tool. I'm still here. Elena whispered. Not for long. Volov he raised his gun and changed his aim. Eris on Elena's forehead. Up. Jack Thorne looked up at the tower 300 meters away. Through the AK-47's iron sights. Sweat burned his eyes. His hands trembled. Tremors, pain due to bleeding on his feet, a weeping symphony. This is Elena, he pleaded softly. Do it. Your activity. He couldn't shoot. Volkov we moved a lot, Dr. Eris also came inside. Line of fire. If Jack hadn't come, they would have been both he died. Who is under the Volov? Moment. Do you have any final words? A little bird. Elena raised her head. Fear entered her eyes. It disappeared. Instead, it was the cold Arctic. Solve. She said, look at the clock. Volkov. She frowned. What? My last words. She asked. She said, raising her voice. Check yourself. Look. Volov instinctively looked. The expensive Rolex on your wrist. All he needed was a distraction for a second. It's important. Elena didn't get up. She jumped forward from her knees. A twisted snake. Her left arm is broken. The hidden scalp, which cuts through tape. She didn't take Volkov's gun. She went to grab his hand. Wait. The knife penetrated the flexor muscle. Volov's right ankle ligaments. He shouted, the gun fell from its place. Useless fingers. Elena turned and kicked the doctor. Eris in the chest, not to hurt him, to remove him from the game fire. Jack. Now, she shouted. Tower, Jack pulled the trigger. Crocker. The bullet didn't hit Volov. Elena was very close to him, struggling. It's with him, but he has the head. The mercenary behind them. Chaos. It exploded. The remaining 20 soldiers she opened fire on Elena, but she Mises, Dames as a person, Dames guessed. Dragged the Chuckles the commander behind the engine block truck. Go. Go. Volov he clutched his broken ankle tightly and shouted, blood spattered his clothes. You told me this. They kept waiting, Elena said hurriedly. Pressing the skull against the carotid artery. Bad. Commander's decision. Shots fired. The truck chassis was locked. I'm going to die here, said Dr. Eris. He screamed, rolling on the ground. Wait. Oh, Eris. Elena cried. She saw him. The sky. Where are you, my wife? Then she heard a low, godlike cry. He cleared his throat. The valley had its own. Breathed microscopically for about a minute. Elena Vance was in the middle. The killing zone, her left arm tied around her Viktor Vulov's neck. The scalp was pressed. Strong as a thin jugular vein, the red blood line has already screamed. The collar. Go, she shouted, her voice screams, it pierces. Dry air. I'll open it here. The mercenaries flew. They were wolves. The package, confused by something unexpected, alpha vulnerability. 20 weapons flat, black forest on top. Metal. Laser sights jumped on it. Chests like angry red wasps. Shoot. For her. Vulov shouted, his voice trembling. In a panic. He was busy with his work. An expensive Italian moccasin, with a shiny color. Garbage. He was a big man, his muscles were strong. And happiness, but it was Elena's control. Iron has its own center. Gravity, it rotates the arm behind it. Return to the destination. Shoot him, you fools. Don't let him take me. If they shoot Viktor, you'll die first. Elena. She held a whistle in her ear. She pulled it. Come back, the pain is felt step by step, closer. Coverage of broken techniques. His heart was beating violently behind his ribs. Like a captured bird, but her hands, it was a dance you knew. Best, razor the border between life and death. Broken concrete slab. Jack Thorne looked at the watchtower, the metal sights of the empty rifle. He pulled the trigger again. Click. Nothing. He tapped his tactical jacket, the fingers are clenched in despair. The bags are empty. He checked the gun. The clip was locked. Come back. Empty. Oh my. Jack shouted and punched him. On the wall. Pain in the leg. There was a distant, faint cry, now hidden. Through painful helplessness, look at the woman who saved him. When life stands alone with Plato. It's a radio recording. Snake, snake, where are you? We, the bullets are black. We are under excessive pressure. The radio exploded, static electricity seeping through. The answer. Then the pilot's voice broke the silence, the voice of God who decides, who liberates the fate of the dead. Solid Granite, copy, there is visual information about IR strobes. The danger is very close. I repeat, the danger is very close. Lower your head and open your mouth. To equalize the pressure, we turn it inward. Very hot. Jack didn't hesitate. He threw it. I was lying on the floor of the building, he covered his head with his hands. Ellen, come down, he shouted. Even though he knows she can't hear above the screams below. Down. Yard, air pressure. Suddenly it has changed. At first there was no sound. There was a tremor. The rocks, the ground began to shake. The dust hung in the air. It began to tremble in the air. The mercenaries raised their heads. It's a voice. Unrivaled in modern warfare. It's not the roar of a jet engine. The sound of the heavens opening. Head, Topi GAU-8 Avenger Foley. 2A-10 Thunderbolt. 2 wild boars fell from the obsidian sky. Like prehistoric birds of prey. 30mm of depleted uranium shells were fired at the fire. It has a speed of 3,900 revolutions per minute. Before the sound reaches the ground, the ears of the people who killed them. The result was apocalyptic. The line of guerrilla fighters lined up the door didn't fall. It evaporated. The ground they were standing on exploded. A geyser with soil, rocks, and pink mist. Serious technical points are listed. Air, like children's toys, they a torn armor plate like wet paper. The shockwave was a physical assault, compressed air hammer every person standing in a radius of 100 meters from their feet. Elena jumped back. The shock of his head separated Volov from himself. She grabbed it. She hit the ground with force, her breath is taken from her lungs. Her gaze it turns white. The world has become a circle. A storm of dust, fire, and smoke, ozone and copper. She stayed there for a long time. A moment of surprise at the whistling in his ear. High pit wind with thunder ears the world. Get up, a voice inside commanded. It was the voice of her old teacher. Academy. Get up or you will die. Elena turned around. She turned around. Cough and spit out gravel. The yard was a slaughterhouse. It has been burned everywhere, thrown far away, shadows dancing in the deep smoke. And she saw movement in the fog. Viktor Volov was alive. Protected by motor block the truck they throw it in. Him. Now it is covered in dust, closed, he squeezed the bleeding wrist tightly. But he moved. He didn't run towards her. He ran to that lonely car. It didn't turn into scrap metal. A ground vehicle with heavy weapons parked nearby the back exit of the complex. No, Elena. She was scratched. She tried to stand, but her legs he shivered. Volov reached the vehicle. He opened the door and jumped out. In the driver's seat. He was trying to escape. After we did everything in the clinic, dead soldiers, Dr. Eris suffering, the monster will go away. Mountains to rebuild the illusion. Jack. Elena shouted, looking at him. Tower. But Jack was 300 meters away, he was wounded and unarmed. The ground the cruiser's engine started. I put it in gear, and the wheels spun. In the blood-soaked dust before it was found he started to speed up, swinging around burning pits. Elena looked around in shock. Her skull was missing on the ground. It was dry. Then the firelight went out. Iron near a pile of sandbags. One person is dead. The mercenary was hanging on the box. Next to it was an RPG-7 rocket launcher, a nuclear warhead already installed in the tube. It was heavy, old Soviet metal. Clears her throat, Elena runs towards her. It holds the cold weapon, its weight. She was about to be dragged. Her teeth were gritted, and her adrenaline was flowing. She took her system one last time. The launcher on her right shoulder. The land cruiser was now moving at a speed of 40. Jumping on the rough road at a meter per hour on the ground, heading towards a gap the perimeter wire was 200 meters away. Difficult for a shooter in a quiet place, days for a tired nurse, panic in the dark amidst the flames. FOB. It was impossible. Elena expanded her stance and feet on moving stones. She ignored them. The creak of her muscles. He ignored the blood rushing to his eyes. She forced him to slow down his breathing. Rough. She looked through the optical viewfinder. The light grid was dim. She wiped away her tears and dust. She guided the target, she didn't aim at the target. Truck, but in the empty space in front from her. Breath. For those who cannot be saved, she in a whisper. She pulled the trigger. Wow. The launcher went in. Shoulder, back pressure rising up a large cloud of dust behind her. The rocket rolled out of the tube, a powerful line of fire opened dark. Time seems to have stopped, Jack. Look at the tower, catch his lips until his fingers turned white. Dr. Eris, hiding behind a water tank, he raised his head. The missile did not hit. The truck hit the back of the truck. As the vehicle reached a slight elevation, the explosion was blinding. The armored land cruiser entered the air, and it returns point by point. He fell overboard and into the abyss, falling from a rocky slope. Fuel. The tank ignited after a second. A large weighted ball of fire blooms like a black flower in the night sky. The walls of the valley glowed in a sharp orange light. There was no sound from the ruins, just the sound of burning fuel. Elena is wearing a Bosch lavator. She fell to the ground. She stood there. For a moment, an image on the opposite side. Hell, small and shaky. Then they cut the threads. The knees she cracked and fell. Trash. The silence that followed. Heavy, broken only by a distant sound. 10s, rolling to win. Jack didn't wait. He didn't care. His leg. He didn't care. The ligaments that hold the thigh together. He erected the low wall of the fortress. Bad landing. By sliding and sliding he went down the slope. He tore his pants, he scratched his hands violently, but continued. Elena, he shouted in his own voice. He reached the bottom of the hill and he staggered towards her. She lay on top of him. Looking back, at the smoke rising up. Stars. Her face was covered in soot. And blood. Her soft shirt tore at her chest, breathing shallowly and irregularly. Jack knelt beside her, ignoring the pain in his leg. She checked her heartbeat. Fred was fast, but here it is. Vance. He sneaked out. Her face in his dirty hands. Elena, stay with me. Her eyelids fluttered. They slowly opened their eyes. There was no longer any cold weapon. The deadly, but soft and tired Hazel, the woman who committed the crime the day before. He looked at her, concentrating with difficulty. Her lips were pale and tired, parted. She smiled. Hey, sailor, she whispered. The sound was barely audible above the noise. Have you seen it? I have. Jack is here. Tears leave marks. In the dust on his face. Best picture I've seen it before. Full view. Mine. She changed. She was in pain and trembling. The work shift ends at 8 o'clock. I need to make graphics. Are you done, Elena? Jack said slowly, brushing his hair off his forehead. Left shifts. You're done. Have we got everything? Jack looked up. Around destruction, around fire trucks, the once silent be an army. Yes, we all have. He saved everyone. Dr. Eris appeared wearing his white coat. Red, the medical bag he carried with him. He survived the wreckage. He knelt down. On the other side of Elena. Let me work, Commander, he said in a soft voice and left the scene. Her sleeve is for starting an intravenous line. She is in a state of shock, dehydration. Potential shock. She's a hero, Jack said in his own voice. The whirring of the rotors began. It trembles in their breasts. Bright the rays of light split the darkness in two. Black Hawk helicopters landed. The knights finally arrived. Pieces. Dust swirled around them. A chaotic storm, but in the middle Jack didn't let go of her hand. She held it tightly. As if that's all, tie it to the ground. Elena looked up at the landing. Helicopters, her eyes are reflected. Landing lights. Jack, here I am. Don't put it in my personal file. She groaned, her eyes closed and wandering. I'm just a nurse. Jack had a voice that sounded like he was half crying. She shook her hand while saying doctors. He ran forward with a stretcher. This is Nightingale, he whispered. Enough. Nurse. Jack spent 3 weeks in the land of stools. A regional medical center in Germany. His leg required 2 surgeries and many tighten, but the doctors told him he would walk. And finally running again. Every day he asked the nurses about Elena Vance. She's in the intensive care unit, they told him at first. Then she moved to a private place. Recovery room. Then she goes to sleep. Jack finally had the ability to be mobile. Wheelchair, rolled down. Room 402. The door was open. The bed was done. The sheets were crisp white and empty. A man was wearing clothes. Standing at the window. Not a mercenary, but it's a government matter. The CIA or maybe MI6. Where is she? Jack asked, turning around. In the room. The matter is back. He looked tired. Mrs. Vance was very moved. Where have you been moved? To a safe place, man. He said, Volkov had many friends. I can't be Elena Vance anymore. Jack. He saw the empty bed. Empty pain. He sat on his chest, sharper than him. Fragments of the wreckage. Did she leave something behind? The man hesitated and then took it in his hand. He took out his pocket. He took out something small. He placed it on the bedside table next to the bed. Plastic name tag. Elena Vance, director nurse, and a note wrapped under it. On hospital stationery. Jack, you were a very bad patient. I've never heard of orders, but you've got it covered. 6 is enough. Don't ask me. The war is over for me now. I'm leaving. Find a place where birds still sing. Jack took his name card. He rubbing the thumb over the letters. After 6 months, Jack received a package. At his home in Virginia. Return address. There was a little bit inside. Hand-carved wooden bird, night storm, and a photo. This was a small picture. A clinic in a village where Jack did not. It is known that there were mountains. The background, green and lush, is not like that. The sharp edges of Afghanistan. And in front of him, dressed in simple clothes with a summer dress and a basket of apples, she was a woman. She didn't go anywhere. Camera. She was laughing at something. Outside the window. She seemed happy. She seemed calm. Jack put the picture on the shelf. Near the trident. The world I don't know about the FOB war. Granite. Never use it. The nurse who destroyed an army to save an army. Few patients. For the world, this is it was just statistics. But for Jack Thorne, she was a learned warrior. That it is not the most dangerous weapon for him, a gun or a jet plane. This is a desire. Protect what is important. He smiled and took the coffee. He entered the empty room in a whisper. Clearly sky, night and storm. Wow. Easy. Wow. In scrubs from all directions to a man with a wife who overthrows a military commander. This is the story of Elena Vance. It makes you wonder how many heroes there are. Every day passes with us in the usual way. Clothes, hiding the stories we can't tell. Think about it. If this story touches your heart, run, make sure you install it like that button. It really helps the channel. Growth. And fat, if you want real stories of heroism and life inspiration. Hello, click subscribe and turn it on. Don't miss the mission on time. What do you think happened to Elena? Has he really found peace? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe and take care. Your